Hi everyone, this is Survivor, and today we will take a look at the tank destroyers with the highest alpha damage in World of Tanks. For each tier, I will cover the Tech Tree tank destroyer with the highest possible armor piercing damage. That means that premium and reward tanks, as well as HE or heat ammunition, are excluded. So without further ado, let's get this show on the road. Starting off at tier 2. We have the Russian tank destroyer AT-1 that deals 110 damage with its 76mm gun. That is insane if you consider that 110 damage is pretty much 2/3 of the hit points of a tier 2 vehicle. And oftentimes you can just one-shot weakened enemies. On the downside, this gun does have really bad accuracy and aim time, which makes it a rare sight on the battlefield because many players prefer the more accurate 57mm gun. However, the damage potential of the 76mm gun is absolutely fearsome and an impressive sight in any low tier match. At tier 3 we have two tank destroyers with 115 damage each. The German Marder II and the Chinese M3G FT. While both have the same alpha damage, the Marder II is clearly superior in penetration and gun handling and takes the spot at tier 3. While 115 doesn't sound like much of an improvement compared to 110 one tier lower, the superior gun handling and insane penetration of 108mm means that the damage potential can be put to use much more effectively, making the Marder II an absolute beast that can take on even tier 4 and 5 opponents quite reliably. Next up, the legendary German Hetzer is capable of dealing some awesome 350 damage per shot. At tier 4, the monstrous 10.5cm gun can one-shot almost every tank except some heavies. With such incredible firepower, barely anyone will be willing to risk a shot from you. Though it is rather lacking in penetration, accuracy and gun handling, it still trumps the Stug 3B and SAV M43, both of which have worst soft stats. Thus, the Hetzer probably has the highest stopping power tier for tier in World of Tanks. At tier 5, the German Stug 3G sports the same gun as the Hetzer at tier 4, offering the same alpha damage of 350. With the only upside being a slightly higher rate of fire, the gun and its abysmal penetration of only 64mm is barely usable at tier 5. Thus, most players mount the powerful 7.5cm anti-tank gun on the Stug 3G. However, the 10.5cm gun is unique at tier 5 with its high damage potential and can be quite effective against lightly armored tanks. The Russian Su-100 takes the spot at tier 6 with 390 damage on its 122mm anti-tank gun. It comes with a solid penetration value of 175mm and adequate soft stats, making it a well-rounded cannon able to reliably penetrate even tier 7 tanks. Unlike its predecessors, it is much more reliable and flexible in its use, which makes it a true damage monster on tier 6. At tier 7, the Su-152 comes with the option to mount a 152mm howitzer gun and deal an overwhelming 700 damage. With only 135mm of penetration and horrible soft stats, it is a very situational and not very reliable gun. Many players choose to use a mix of HE and AP ammunition to be more flexible and to be prepared to exploit the insane alpha damage of the 152mm armor piercing shells. Uniquely for this list, the Russian Su-152 sports more than double the average alpha damage of the tank destroyers of its tier. It is truly an alpha beast. After the Su-100 and Su-152, you know that the ISU-152 is next in line. While the German Rheinmetall Borsig can also make use of a 15cm gun, its bad penetration value means that the legendary tier 8 Russian tank destroyer will take the spot. It comes with a 152mm gun with 750 alpha damage and 260mm of penetration. While it can no longer mount the infamous BL-10 gun since the 9.2 update, it is still an absolutely fearsome opponent on the battlefield, able to penetrate even the most heavily armored tanks at long range and wreak havoc on anyone careless enough to drive into its field of fire. At tier 9, we have a total of 5 tank destroyers that can dish out 750 hit points worth of damage. The Russian Object 705, the Chinese WZ-111G FT, the American T-30 and T-95, and the German Waffenträger auf Panzer IV. While all of these tanks are powerful and have their strengths, it is the Chinese WZ-111G FT that is the first among equals. Its well-balanced soft stats and extremely high penetration allows the driver to make full use of its terrifying alpha damage and dominate the battlefield. Neither armor nor distance can shield your opponents from your awesome gun. Finally, at tier 10, we have the one and only, the British FV4005 Stage 2, which deals a jaw-dropping 1150 damage with each of its 182.9mm armor-piercing shells. Combined with its solid gun handling and high penetration, no tank in the game will be able to withstand its awesome stopping power. While it can be somewhat unreliable at long-range sniping, its ability to achieve thousands of damage points with only a few hits and take out many tanks with only 1 to 2 shots truly earns it the title of the ultimate tank destroyer. That was my compilation of the highest alpha damage tank destroyers in World of Tanks. Hope you liked it and see you next time.